Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jennifer Hardy, and you're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast Show. Today, I am joined with the lovely Regan Walsh. How are you doing, Regan?
Jennifer, I'm great. How are you?
I am so well. Thank you so much for joining me, for being part of the show today.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to connect with you here.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so tell me a little bit, Regan, right off the bat, what is your business? What is your life's work?
Yes. So my life's work is all around empowering women to live their best lives, whether it's personally and professionally. So I am an executive and life coach, and the women that work with me are all looking to either make some sort of transition within their career or their home life, or they're learning, they're craving to set boundaries and shed the shoulds in their lives and really show up big time for the people and the causes that matter most to them.
Amazing. So you just popped something in there, the shoulds. What is it that you mean by that?
So a should is anything that you say yes to either out of fear or obligation. And it's typically something when you're invited to do something, you say yes, and then you instantly have regret and you can feel it in your gut. And then you spend all this time figuring out how you're going to get out of doing whatever it was you were invited to do. So you spend all this energy either trying to come up with an excuse or showing up and not being yourself, your best self. So a should is something that you say yes to that you have little to no desire to actually do.
I've been wondering what that is and what we could call it. So this is
Yeah.
loving it. And I don't know how many times in the past I have put myself in that situation. And I was actually speaking earlier on about this. And for me, I actually felt really guilty.
Yes.
Like I said no to something.
Isn't it funny, the role guilt plays for all of us, because we're all guilty. We all say yes to shoulds. And even I consider myself an expert, but there are moments when I fall into the should trap, and then you have to slap yourself in the face and say, what are we doing? Life is too short to, say things out of fear of what people might think if we say no, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. So talk to me a little bit about how you got to this business. What happened? How did it unfold?
So my journey to becoming an executive and life coach, there were several different chapters, whether it was working for a Fortune 100 company here in the US, to a creative agency, to startup environments, and every single role I've ever held in my life all required me to be an incredible listener, and my door was always open. So I was at a transition in my life, and I thought, what would I want to do to earn money and to have a life that feels incredibly purpose driven? And I realized I needed to dial up the strengths that were natural to me. And that is the ability to listen and empower people to live their best lives. So the journey was meant to be, as you know, every chapter leads to a next for a specific reason. And I feel so incredibly honored to help women do the same and figure out their next for their journey.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And tell me, has this been very easy for you to slide into this role, this new business? Because obviously it's an online business, isn't it? It must be global.
It is global. I do both in-person coaching, and then a lot of the work that I do is online, and I, Skype with clients all over the world. And I think, that's kind of a loaded question. Is it challenging? Yes. As you know, running a business is challenging, and we often think that running a business provides more freedom, right, than working for somebody else, and that's a silly, misconception. That's not real. But on the other side, in terms of the work I get to do with my clients, it's incredibly easy for me because I'm living in my zone, right?
Yeah.
So it's been the easiest and hardest thing of my life.
Definitely. So you're obviously you're able to really enjoy the work that you do, but like you said, the online space, you don't work less.
No.
Do Zoom recordings and videos and things like that with your clients. And yes, it cuts out the journey time, of course, but
Yes.
doesn't mean that you're not doing anything in that time.
Right. And your clients are on different time zones. So you really are thinking about it around the clock. But when it's, when you're grounded in what it is you want to do, it doesn't wear you down like other chapters of my life before I was self-employed. Right. There's no greater gift than to help people kind of live live their truth and live their best lives.
So when you were chatting there about that, I love the fact that you called them shoulds. It's brilliant. I want to go back to that a little bit because I want to know from you, what are some of the shoulds that you have had to shed in a personal respect or professionally as well? And obviously, if you can talk to us a little bit about that, it's just, I want to inspire the women out there to be able to take action on this as well. It's such an important thing, and I don't think we talk about it enough.
I agree. I'll give a few examples. So on a personal standpoint, I once shed the should of a marriage, right? I was married to somebody that wasn't the best person for me. It wasn't necessarily broken, but it wasn't the right relationship for me. So having the courage to say, you know what, this isn't the life that I want. And I think we both deserve better, even though I assumed everybody around me would judge me and think that that's the wrong move. That was a major should, like speaking up for the type of personal relationships I've wanted. Professionally, I have once left a job after 4.25 days because I was sitting there and realized that it wasn't the type of work I wanted to be aligned with, for knowing I was going to be putting in probably 60, 70 hours a week. I didn't want to spend my time doing that work. And so having the courage to say, you know what, saying yes to this job is a should. I am fully capable of finding my true path. But in order to do that, I need to say no to this job and this security of a steady income. Shoulds also come in the form of expectations that we put on ourselves. Something as simple as I have, 2 little girls, and there are a lot of people around me that host elaborate birthday parties or go over the top for holidays. And for me, that's not something that I thrive in that environment. I'm not creative in that way. Putting together the best birthday party for a 3-year-old, that to me is a total should. So I don't do that. So it's having the courage to say, you know what, that path is great for you. It's not great for me. Whether it is going out with your friends on a regular basis, you might need more time for yourself. You might need time to recharge, and having the courage to say, you know what, I don't want to go to happy hour or dinner tonight, or that holiday doesn't work for me. I'm going to do something else, and standing up for what it is that you need.
Yeah, my goodness, it just makes for such a happier life, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? It's amazing how much you can get done when you just have the courage to sift through the BS, right? And say, you know what, that's not where I need to put my energy. When you're focused, you can just get so much more done and thrive and enjoy it. Shouldn't we enjoy this journey?
100%, of course.
Yeah,
That you just touched on that just popped right into my head when you were talking there was this whole thing where, it's like comparisonitis.
Yes.
Comparing yourself to other mums, comparing yourself to other online figures, comparing yourself to models on Instagram.
Yeah, and you're never going to win in that game. That statement, comparison is the thief of joy, that exists for a reason. It is so rare that you're ever comparing yourself and you're coming out on top, right? So comparison just sucks the wind out of your sails. I always encourage my clients, stay in your lane. You do you. Dial up what you're best at, and let's applaud other people for their gifts, but we don't have to try to be them. Let's just own who we are 100% and nail it.
Yeah, and don't have to be like everyone all of the time and doing everything that you see out there as well. That's something that I definitely have got kind of pulled into. It's I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and I'm like, Jen, just relax. There's time.
Yeah, there is time. Yes.
I don't know why we've created this huge urgency.
Yeah, and you know what the truth is the more yeses you hand out, the less weight that they have.
Yes.
So the more you're trying to do the dozen things, the less that you're really excelling in your top 2 or 3 priorities, right? And that's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been there. I've had to learn it myself before. And I still find myself in situations where I say yes to things that don't serve me and don't align.
Yes.
It always gets me in a point where I'm feeling anxious or stressed or whatever, all these things. And it's just not nice. So I'm hoping that people out there are really thinking, okay, I need to make a stand and I need to begin to do some of this stuff. So on that note, what steps do you think that people could actually take in order to review situations that they're in order to stop saying yes to all of the things that they actually deep down know that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. So there are a few things. Number one, when you say yes too often, you're suffering from something that I call the disease to please. So you're doing that because you don't want to let people down. You don't want to disappoint anybody. So buy yourself time. If you know that you're an instant person to say yes, one small step you can take is say, you know what, let me think about this for 24 hours. I'll get back to you. And even be upfront with people. Like I'm trying to get better about being focused in what I say yes to, so I can show up for you. Let me make sure I can give this my full attention. So that's one idea. The other idea, if you have courage to say no when you know, like off the bat, is truly tune into your gut instinct. Is this something that gives you butterflies in a good and exciting way? Or is it something that feels like, you know, you're going to be anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, and want to try to cancel at the last minute? I would think about your reputation and like what I say your whisper brand is. Do you want people to be whispering about how you always bail at the last minute or that you overcommit? It's better to say no up front than to ruin your reputation for how you show up for people. And then another tip that I give comes from the book Essentialism from Greg McKeown, and it talks about ranking every opportunity from 1 to 100. If you would say something is an 85 out of 100, you instantly make that a 0. So where the 90% rule comes in is you only say yes to things that you rank 90 and above. So if it's 90 to 100, that's a total yes. If it's an 89, make it a 0 and keep moving.
Oh, I love that concept.
Isn't that good? It's crazy how effective it is. And let me give an example. A few years ago, I was given an opportunity to do a speaking engagement out in New York, and I ranked it about an 86. And it was just shortly after I had read the book, and I said, you know what? It's not a 90. I need to make it a 0. I'm going to see what happens. When I made that 86 a 0, a couple weeks later, an even better opportunity that was like absolutely a 100% came along, also in New York City. And I was able to say yes to that because I hadn't said yes to the other one. So when you have the courage to say yes to the 90 and aboves, you're going to have all the opportunities that you want land on your doorstep. And you have to trust me and try it one time and see how it works for you.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I am definitely going to do it.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your mission going forward then. What have you got coming up in the next couple of years that you're really excited about?
Well, one of the things that I recently launched is an online course all around living life on your own terms. So it's a self-guided coaching course that includes 9 modules of the most popular topics that I work with my one-on-one clients around. And as you know, you can't meet everybody one-on-one. So I wanted to offer that same value to my clients, to virtual clients that want to learn about pushing past self-doubt, about curing the disease to please, about letting go of perfection and control and all the things that hold us back. So I'm really proud of that program and excited to be able to make a bigger impact for people all over the world. And then I also am expanding my group coaching platform. In the past, I've only done that here in person where I live, and that's been really amazing. But I have people from all over the world saying, wait, I want in on the group coaching program. So in 2019, I will be kicking off a group coaching program again for a smaller group of women, 10 to 12 women who are all committed to shedding their shoulds, pushing past fear, and bringing their dreams to life.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. So also, I wanted to ask a little bit about this, and I think it's something that is really important, boundaries when it comes to working with clients, and when it comes to just every other relationship you have in a personal space as well. Could you give me like a few ways that you can really set those boundaries tight, but making it obviously not seem, what's the word I'm looking for? Not that it's
like not that I'm unwelcoming. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So this is,
coming across extremely open as you normally are, but still being able to put those really strong boundaries in place.
Yeah. So, one of the boundaries in my in my professional life that has transformed my work as a coach is I no longer have, coffee dates or meetups or calls that are, collaboration calls every day of the week, right? I used to, when people would say, hey, do you want to talk and explore this collaboration? I would say yes immediately. And my schedule became fragmented and all over the place.
Yeah.
Today, what I do is I have focused days and focused moments where those things are still important to me. Meeting potential clients for coffee is not important. Having a 20-minute call where I can understand their need, they can understand my approach to coaching, that is important. So I find specific days of the week where I can say yes to those opportunities, but they all happen on the same day so I can be focused and help those people in one day versus having one on Monday, one on Wednesday, maybe 3 on Friday. So setting those boundaries of when I say yes to those things has been pivotal in focusing on all the things that I need to get done. Personally, it's the same. Just I tend to say like spend time with your A-listers, right? So there was a time in my life that I spent time, there are A-listers and Z-listers. The A-listers are the people that matter most to you, that fill up your bucket, that you feel your best around. And the Z-listers might not be bad people, but maybe they take more and make you feel depleted. I used to give equal time to A's and Z's. Today, I am really deliberate about who I say yes to in my friend group, right? And how often. And I make it a point to dial up the time that I spend with the people that matter most. And I limit the time with the people that aren't in my inner circle. Whereas before I would try to show up the same way for those people as I do for my inner circle. And I don't have the capacity to do that. None of us do.
Yeah, none of us do. None of us do. This has been a fantastic call today. I've really, really loved it because I've obviously learned a lot too. And I just think that what keeps shining through is it is okay, and you don't have to feel guilty about putting yourself first.
You're so right. You don't need to feel guilty.
Yeah.
Because you know what, one more note is when you put yourself first, you are able to have soak up more energy to be able to give back to the people and causes that matter to you. So when I put myself first, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better coach. Everybody wins when I put myself first. And the same will happen for you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been brilliant to speak to you. Tell me a little bit about where we can find you online. And
Sure.
I know that you've got an awesome freebie that the people that are listening are going to love this. Can you talk to me a little bit about your free offering that you've got for us as well?
I sure will. So my free guide to shedding your shoulds will outline 3 steps for you to gain clarity on what matters to you and why, and give you the confidence to start shedding the shoulds in your life. So that's the freebie. It's all around shedding your shoulds to give you the tools that you need to confidently say no and set boundaries. You can connect with me in a variety of ways. On Instagram, it's Regan Walsh Life Coach. The same goes for Facebook, Regan Walsh Life Coach. On Twitter, it's Regan Walsh. LinkedIn, you got it, it's Regan Walsh. And I also contribute to Forbes. So if you just simply put in Forbes, Regan Walsh, you'll find me. And I tell stories about women who are living life on their own terms and tips where you can do the same.
Amazing, amazing. It has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you so much. I already feel empowered and I've only been chatting to you for 20 minutes. So
Jennifer, thank you. I always love, soaking up your energy because you're doing such great work. So how fun for us to be able to spend this time together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what we do in the future as well. Maybe some collaborations if it feels right. When we're not so busy, that would be amazing.
I can't wait. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen when the time is right.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, thank you so much again. Like I said, everyone listening out there, I hope you've enjoyed this today. I hope you have written down some notes in your journal, and I hope that more than anything, you put some of it into action as well. And of course, the whole concept is to live a happier, more fulfilled life. And by taking these steps, and they may seem small, but by taking them, it makes such a massive difference to the quality of your life overall. So if you want to know more about Regan, of course, you can just scroll down and you will find all of her links there, including the link to her freebie. And of course, if you want to know more about Unstoppable and myself, a little bit below that, you will find details about us and what we do here at Unstoppable. Thank you so much for joining me, Regan. Thank you for all of our listeners. We appreciate you so much, and have a really beautiful day or night. Take care. Bye.